Yes. Hmm. And do you see anything else, or would you like me to start with his questions?
Yeah, if you can start with the questions, I think we're good from here.
Beautiful, thank you. So he did have a dream recently, and in the dream, he believes he was actually younger in the dream with his brother Thomas, but there were government agents nuking his house or sending in radiation, and they were directing it at his brain. Can you clarify that dream for us?
Yeah, he is being targeted, but they cannot touch him. Um, the significance with his brother in his dream. Yeah, Peter's always looked up to his older brother, and that's why he was in this dream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to worry about here, but he does need to continue speaking his truth because that's what's keeping him safe.
You say he does need to continue to speak his truth?
Continue speaking his truth just as he has been.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He pulled back a little bit. He pulled back a little bit, but that's keeping him safe when he does speak his truth. So he just needs to continue that. That's what the dream was about.
Yes. And the targeting, was that relevant to now? Was that was that significant, like as far as a specific frequency,
Yeah, no,
maybe?
that's now. They're being watched. Australia is in the final grips of the old order, and they are falling away, and that's why they cannot touch our red crosses. But
Beautiful.
he is being watched by them. But he will be safe as long as he continues to speak truth and to keep perpetuating justice.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting that last cord was what needed to happen because he was carrying old energy from previous lifetimes where he was chastised for speaking its truth, um, speaking light to dark, but dark is over. They're done.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So basically, standing in his power is what's making him stronger, protecting him.
That's correct.
Beautiful, beautiful. And is that also why I've actually had several individuals from Australia seek aura sessions? Is that part of the reason why, to help free and clear them from that energy?
Yeah, that's correct. They're feeling it as well. They may not know consciously that they are being watched. They may know subconsciously. They may have um, heard it but are not confronting it. But yes, they are being watched. They are being tracked. They're being monitored. But they need to speak their light to dark because that will keep them safe.
Yes, yes. And
Respectfully, with love, yes, of course. But as long as they're speaking light to dark and truth and justice, that will keep them safe. They
yes,
have
yes.
nothing to worry about.
And is this also a part of healing the grid lines in Australia?
Let me tune into the grid lines. Grid lines are under attack. They've been placed in Australia.
Mm.
Yeah, some of them don't know why they've been placed in Australia, but yes, they've been placed in Australia to anchor and to bring healing to the grid lines.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we appreciate them for that as well. Mm.
Yeah, it's almost time to go home. Peter misses home.
Yeah. Oh. And where will he be returning to?
He'll go back to Colorado.
Oh, okay. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Wonderful. And let's see here. As far as a part of his life path, he wants to know if it has anything to do with bringing clarity. He gave me initials. I'm not sure what they are. GCR or RV.
Right, the global currency reset is a real thing. Peter's been going back and forth. However, there's so much misinformation and disinformation. The RV is a revaluation of the global currencies, which will be bringing wealth and abundance to essentially to humanity that has been kept from their true royal origins on the planet. Um, let's see, let me tune into that a bit more. How is Peter helping there? Yeah, they'll be distributing that. Is that why he's in Australia? Partially the reason why he's in Australia.
Mm.
That's from what I can see. Is this something that we can confirm with Ra? Because there's the issues of the misinformation and the disinformation that kind of muddy what is really happening. But yeah, there's a huge tide that's coming, and it's biblical. Um, it's going to be uh, bringing light and truth, and helping people to discover their own spirituality. But at the moment, they are financially repressed, and that's what's keeping them distracted from connecting. But
Yes.
this is something that we should be confirming with Ra, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Would you like me to see if we can call him forward?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much information. Ra is saying there's so much information that has been passed through bloodlines that should have reached humanity, the light of humanity that has been kept, that's going to be returning knowledge, wisdom. Uh-huh. Flooding out the darkness. I don't see Ra speaking. It's just like an energy that I receive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
More wisdom teachings, new paradigms.
Yes. When he says wisdom teachings, does he mean like true teachings on manifestations? What is his advice?
That's correct. Everything from manifestations to ancient knowledge, um, connecting with higher realms. Part of Peter's.
Okay. Any other message? Anything as far as the global reset? Are we still being guided to continue to invest in certain cryptocurrencies? Are there any other suggestions to help with the transition?
Yes, the blockchain is very interesting. It was taken from the dark, but that is what's going to be delivering the new quantum. The funding from the new quantum banking system will be coming via the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see if there's dark energy in the form of various cryptocurrencies. There's certain cryptocurrencies that should be avoided. Some cryptocurrencies have been they've been controlled. I'm not sure which one. But the blockchain itself is essentially the pathway for the deliverance of the RV funding.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple bad actors. Let's see. What have we done here? How
I
are we
even
for
feel.
time? Are you okay?
Oh, go ahead. Say it again.
Oh, I was just saying, how are you for time? Are you okay?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I was going to say, I've also been feeling like maybe even some of the dark ones are interfering even with the, I guess you could say, the moving forward with the blockchains. They've been kind of stifled, it looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not letting go, and we can see that through the stock market that they're not wanting to let go of, but it's going to continue to bleed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, there's a transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Peter's confused about Donald Trump, but we can bring him clarity there. There's information about Trump actually being an incarnated archangel. There's also information about Donald Trump being controlled opposition. We get light. I see light.
Yes, yes. And Trump is of Earth origin.
Earth origin.
Mm-hmm. Does Ra have a message maybe regarding Trump's need or desire to build the wall? Does he have any further clarification about that?
Okay. Is it the human trafficking? Yeah, that wall will go very deep. It's not so much the purpose of putting it above the ground, it's more about what's happening below the ground.
Mm, yes.
Let me just, there's a little bit more coming through. Peace, light. Yes. That wall is for the protection of everybody, essentially. There is trafficking of not just people, but children, and there are drugs, there are weapons that are going deep underground. They're coming up. There's more and more being found. And so the purpose of the wall is more about having it uh, block the tunnels from very much below the ground.
Yes. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And how is he doing as far as there was a message of concern that maybe I was feeling okay. I think I was receiving two different messages.
Mm-hmm.
One, there's like brown hats or ones that have integrated a little bit of light to try to blend in with the light, causing confusion. And then I received another message, I guess, as far as us like working to distinguish who's of the light and who's not. Is Trump doing a fair job of distinguishing between the light and the dark?
Yes, he knows exactly who everybody is. They have intelligence that goes back very far beyond that. They have no question who is who. He's allowing them to expose themselves in the public view uh, very slowly and very delicately, though, to not interrupt too much. Uh, yeah, just to not harm the public too much.
To cause as little trauma as possible.
That's correct.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, and he wants to know if he can clarify. Will he be ascending or will he be staying on the old earth to assist people into the new earth?
Mm-hmm. He will be frequenting both. He will be
Yes.
going to the new earth, and if he needs to, when he wants to, he can also visit the old earth in order to continue guiding the ones that are ready to ascend at the next wave to the new earth. So he's done the work. Uh, he'll continue to do the work, but yes, lights are green.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. And okay, do you have any messages on? It looks like his next question is about discernment. He's wanting to know basically how to discern, who he should be
Mm-hmm.
interacting with and who he should not.
Yes. No, he knows exactly who he needs to be interacting with. Um, his his empathic abilities are the highest that they've ever been, in addition
Mm-hmm.
with his intuitive abilities. And if he's confused, he's remembering more and more now to go within and to do that discernment. And he no longer needs to seek the external. He knows internally. So, yes, he's got this.
Beautiful, beautiful. And he stated that meditation doesn't always work for him. And he wants to know what's the best for his creativity, his zone, his balance.
Peter's got a very active uh, mind and body, so he should continue to harness this, but he does need to silence the mind because there are messages that he needs to receive. There's information that he needs to receive. This is fine to do actively if he's at the gym, which he loves to do. However, he needs to keep the music off so that the messages can get through to him because we can't get through to him. Um, he's cleared subconscious programming and we're able to get information through that way. And so he is functioning much more optimally in its physical self via his subconscious, and that's good. Um, so, yes, he's more than able to receive information and light both actively and in silence. It's up to him. However, if he's not doing the practice with traditional meditation in silence, he'll need to have silence at the gym while he's active, and these will continue to come to him through vision and through thought as it has been before. Dreams is his other significant form of perception,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not doing well there because his activity is high, so he's very tired. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, pick one, we tell him, or at least, if you're going to mix it up, just be consistent about having some sort of quiet place at some spot.
Yes, yes, beautiful, beautiful. And okay. So the next question is along the same lines. As far as accessing more of his higher self and integrating more of his higher self, he's asking what can he do outside of sessions and aside from meditating. I just have to ask is because it sounds like meditating is quite boring maybe to him. And
Mm-hmm.
I know for sure they've said, well, you want to add an element of joy to your meditations, and that would actually be even better.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. He gets impatient and bored during traditional meditation. He can connect to his higher self at any state, at any time. He's getting much better at that now. As of the Lionsgate eclipse in 2017, I believe it was his last major activation,
Mhm.
reactivation, I should say. Uh, I'm just getting something here. There's confusion about marijuana. It's been dirtied in a way.
Mm-hmm.
There's healing properties. However, there needs to be balance about it, brought about it. Um, he does not partake typically, but he can connect to his higher self this way if he does need to clear interference. However, the practice needs to be very focused and targeted, and he has a lot of notes that he's taken before that he needs to read through, otherwise there's no purpose.
Right, right. So raising the vibration, clearing the space, and making it more of a sacred practice.
That's correct. That will
And
help to clear the blockages, well, which we have already done, but there was blockages within the pineal gland that certain elements of the plant can clear, which will open up a channel to connect with the higher realms. It's very easy for this to become a crutch, and so we advise to proceed with caution, and to make the most out of it by staying aligned with certain, being prepared with certain questions and guidance that one is seeking from the higher self, and to take notes during these sessions and to review those notes after the sessions, perhaps the next day, particularly if one has difficult time in just typical traditional meditation. Mhm.
And what is your, how would you compare hemp versus marijuana?
How would I compare him versus marijuana?
No, hemp, H-E-M-P,
I'm
hemp.
sorry. Yes, hemp. Hemp is marijuana essentially is an aspect of the hemp plant. So the hemp
Mm-hmm.
plant has been, it's being brought back now by Donald Trump, and that is for a reason. The marijuana plant has certain compounds within the hemp, within its plant, that can help to unlock and to clear certain. It will help to unlock certain frequencies within the brain. The brain is a transmitter and a receiver. It's been essentially, uh, we can say poisoned, we can say clogged
Mm-hmm.
from the various chemicals and toxins in the water, in the air, in the foods. There's a certain THC compound, which is the medicinal aspect of the marijuana plant and the hemp plant. And when that THC is combined with another compound called the CBD compound, which the CBD compound does not provide the same kind of loopy effects that the THC plant does. If one does not like the THC kind of loopy high effect, they can increase the CBD compound to limit that. When these compounds are combined, the body is placed into a balanced state of homeostasis. The body has been deprived of certain compounds from the hemp plant, including THC and CBD, as well as a plethora of other compounds. These used to be a staple of the human uh, consumption of human nutrition that was taken away long ago by the dark ones because of the systems that they wished to put in place instead, uh, to create artificial.
Oh, mm, we're going to push pause. Pause. I figured that was probably what it was.
Sincere
Oh,
apologies.
yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Where did we
Ah,
leave off? I'm not sure where that cut off. I think.
right. We were discussing the CBD and THC and how when it's combined, it does provide a balance that is beneficial to humanity. And you were starting to go into why the dark ones had basically removed that from humanity.
Yes, that's correct. The hemp plant used to be a staple within the human nutrition. If you have a look at the human physiology and biology, there are certain receptors within the human body that are actually seeking certain compounds of the hemp plant. THC is one of the compounds, although it can provide that high effect. CBD is one of the compounds which can counteract the high effect. Each one has its own abilities to provide healing in different ways. But the dark ones wish to remove the hemp plant because of the abundance that it provides to humanity, not just medicinally, which would obviously conflict with their pharmaceutical and their big pharma programs that they have running, but for clothing, for obviously food, milk, um, and a, a multitude essentially, of innovations that it can provide. And this is now being returned to the human race as part of the new golden age that is being brought back to humanity.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, there is, I know you said even with smoking marijuana, you gave caution.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, the archangels have cautioned about using anything that alter your consciousness. They have said they would prefer us to maybe even eat or consume or use CBD oil versus actually smoking to where it alters your consciousness. And I've also removed entities that have entered during the smoking of marijuana. What advice can you give regarding the smoking? I know for sure, like wanting to do it in a high vibrational state, like you said, with specific questions, in a sacred nature, not in a, like a repressed state or, I'm depressed and I'm hanging around with a bunch of people where we all have entities. That's obviously not going to be a good situation. But what further can you say? Is it best to consume it? Or like you said, if you do smoke it, you would want to do it with like strict precautions.
Mm-hmm. I see if one does not want to have an altered state of consciousness, if one does not want um, to have any kind of, of so-called high effect, then that's when the CBD property must be raised in order to limit that altered state of consciousness, because the purpose of the THC is to help unblock the pineal gland and to it's a very misunderstood concept, but there's blockages that can take place within certain people, within many people, that the THC can help to clear out. If an altered state of consciousness is not desired, that's when the CBD component can be increased, just so that the body is then put into that homeostasis capacity where the body is completely functioning on its own to remove any kind of just chemical blocks within the body from a health perspective.
Yes, yes. And maybe possibly it is because of how far humanity has fallen in its vibration. Because quite honestly, when you look at humanity and you actually see, even when it was illegal, you actually see quite a few people smoking and it's not benefiting them as a humanity. And I think this is where we are wanting to clarify, because there are people that smoke a lot and their life is not improving. So
that's escapism. That's correct. That would be considered escapism, and that is something that we would not advise. We would advise against the escapism aspect. However, from a healing modality, if one is wishing to clear blockages and to bring about it's the perpetual state of homeostasis within the body at that time by counteracting the CBD to the THC, can bring the human body into a physiology where it is in a homeostasis mode, essentially. But yes, if there are certain people that are using it as a crutch and are using it as a way to escape, that's the unhealthy or the lower functioning usage of the plant. You can have a lower functioning usage of anything. So it's
Yeah.
really about really what your intentions are and why you're using something and how it is being used, um, for what purpose and for what higher good of each individual person.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I do thank you because I believe information and clarification and understanding would help people to make choices. And of course, it's always free of judgment, but it is better to have a better understanding of what you're doing.
Sure, exactly right.
Yes, beautiful. And let's see here. And also, even this might help Peter and maybe even others. Some of those blissful states or euphoric states you can absolutely reach in meditation, correct?
Mm, that's correct. With the consistency of staying within a quiet mode within the mind, which Peter has obtained before, almost like a tree that just continues to grow, the consciousness will continue to ascend to the higher realms, and a natural state of bliss can be attained. Our the the natural state of Peter, of people, is a higher vibrational state. Um, there's just there's a lot of noise which is keeping individuals in a lower vibration. When one can learn to silence those noises, the pathways are open for the attainment of those higher states completely naturally. Absolutely.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And